So you've been furloughed and you're wondering, should you use the money inside of your 401k to make it by? Join us when we discuss that today. Furloughed, I've been laid off. What do I do with my 401k? Well, there's a very different thing going on between a furlough and a layoff. So a furlough, I think of growing up in southwestern Virginia. There was a local construction company that seemed like every winter the work dried up. So when that work dried up, people were furloughed. It was, I don't have any work for you right now, but I hope to in the future. So if you're furloughed right now, your employer is telling you, I don't have any work for you right now, but I hope to in the future, and I want to bring you back. There's no promise of it. There's no promise of a timeline of when that would happen, but it's the hope that that would exist. If I look at the difference of being laid off is just a different way of saying you were terminated. Your position is gone. The company has, they've removed you from the system. They're looking to see what they're going to do as far as moving forward. So some of the people that were furloughed may eventually wind up just being let go entirely. But if you're in that boat right now that you've been laid off, you're no longer an employee of the company, you might be sitting wanting to know, what should I do with my 401k? Now, let me preface this by saying don't take action immediately on anything that I'm saying today, because if you have questions about your unique situation, you can click the schedule link. I'm happy to have a 15-minute conversation with you just to help out and figure out what's really going on in your world. I'm not necessarily your advisor unless you're one of my clients. So because of that, I don't want you to take any action based upon that. But if we look at this and we say you've been laid off, number one, we always want to start with, what income sources do I still have? Was that my sole source of income? Was that the only thing that I had that was producing income for me? If it was, do I have any savings? So we always hear, right? We've heard for years, make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of your expenses set aside because a rainy day might come. Now maybe you didn't listen to that and you're sitting there going, I'm watching the check account and the savings account go down, 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 and I don't know when the next check's coming in. If that's the case, then it makes sense for you to start with step one, which is create a spending plan. Now I know you're going, Andy, but I want to know, should I use money out of my 401k? We don't know the answer to that until we start seeing how all the pieces fit together. So if we look at that and we first create a spending plan, which if you go to our YouTube channel, I've got a nice video being able to explain how to build that first spending plan, as well as a template to help you out. But that spending plan should let you know how much do you need on a monthly basis to survive. It even breaks it down to the week. So if we look at that and we say weekly, how much do I need to be able to survive? And what do I have coming in? What sources do I have that I can pull from? If we see that when you do that, that you're going to be able to make it for another 3 months without hurting, then we've got our idea of what's going on. If you're going to need money next week, then we probably should be out trying to find ways to create that. So if I'm going to use money from a 401k, what do I have to be aware of? Well, I've got to be aware of what I'm actually doing. See, a 401k, you're putting money away that you haven't paid tax on yet. So what happened with the CARES Act is they eliminated, if you were pulling from that source, some of the different restrictions. But what did they not eliminate? Taxes. So if I pull $30,000 out of my 401k because I don't work there anymore, and I just want to build back up my savings account with this, guess what you're going to wind up doing? You're going to pay tax on $30,000 of income. Now they're nice. They're not making you pay it all this year, right? They've spread it out. They said you've got a few years to be able to pay this. But I'm going to guess that if you're struggling right now with trying to find income, you probably didn't have a full plan put together to think of things like that down the road. Why is that important? If we don't plan for taxes, the IRS is still going to get their taxes. They're going to find a way to get their money. So we want to make sure that you're well thought out and planned with, where am I pulling money from? It's not just free to pull it out of the 401k. You will pay taxes. So if we're going to pull from that source, maybe we should look at seeing, should we do it over time? One of the nice ways to do this over time is that you can say, let me take that 401k, move it to my own individual retirement account, an IRA. And now I can process those distributions easier. When it's sitting in the 401k plan, I've got to submit paperwork, I've got to request for it to come. It might take 30 or 45 days for me just to get my money. I'm not saying it will, it could. I've seen it take up to 2 months for somebody to get a check from a 401k plan. So if that's you and you're needing money right now, do you really want to wait 60 days for that? And then the next time you need money, do you want to wait another 60 days? No, we'd rather you be in control. You can move that money to that individual retirement account. You're in control. You're able to have those distributions coming out as you need them. Leave the money in the account to continue to recover in value that you've lost during this COVID-19 crisis. And that way you're only turning what you need to into liquid cash. It's easier to do when you've got this system set up to where on a monthly basis. So an advisor like us should be able to help you out with moving that money to an IRA. So whether it's us or not doesn't matter. It's that you should have a professional that can help you out with moving it to the individual retirement account and then setting up all the proper things in place to allow checks to be able to go out to you. This is one of the quickest, easiest ways of making sure that you don't accidentally create a bigger problem. If you totally liquidate your 401k, you pull everything out right now, it's got no chance to recover because you've pulled all the money out and turned it into cash. You can't undo what you did. So we want to make sure you're doing it the right way. If you're still working there, though, maybe you're not actively getting a check, but you're just simply furloughed. This is going to work differently. You may not be eligible to move the money out of the 401k. That's when you would actually have to look at taking loans against your 401k. Those loan provisions have changed with the CARES Act, so if you've got questions about specifically how that works, set up a time, a conversation, 15 minutes. You can click the link below. I'm happy to help you out with exactly what this means to you and your individual situation to make sure that it's set up best. I've had people that have reached out from Arizona, from Colorado, Virginia, all over the country trying to find out questions about this in their specific situation. And guess what? Everybody's situation is unique. So we want to make sure to treat you as uniquely as you are. If you've got questions about that, click the link in our description to be able to schedule 15 minutes to be able to help you out with your individual questions. Maybe it's not, do I need to pull money from my 401k? Maybe you have questions about your benefits that have changed now that you're no longer employed. Maybe you need life insurance or disability questions. Maybe you've got questions about how long can I make all of this work? I had a beautiful conversation this week. It was somebody that said, I've been laid off, but you know what? I'm kind of getting used to this. It was like a trial run of retirement. Do I have enough money saved to actually go ahead and retire now? If those are questions that you've got or other questions, schedule 15 minutes. I'm happy to help you out as best we can. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll join you again next week.
Thank you for watching the Life Wealth Group YouTube channel. We hope you found this video informative. If you have any specific questions as to what you heard today, don't hesitate to reach out to us for a complimentary phone call or meeting in person. Also, don't forget to subscribe.